Welcome to Football Today TV. Before we continue, make subscribe, like our video and comment, please. Life is to help each other. Let me welcome you again. As frustration reaches boiling point among West Ham United supporters, one message is becoming louder and clearer with every passing week. Enough is enough. The appointment of Nuno Espírito Santo was supposed to bring stability, discipline, and a clear tactical structure to a club that had been drifting. Instead, it has plunged West Ham into one of the most alarming periods in their recent Premier League history. As results continue to worsen and performances sink to new lows, the argument that West Ham must act decisively by sacking Nuno and turning to a familiar figure in Slaven Bilic is no longer driven by emotion alone, but by the harsh reality of survival. When Nuno was appointed, there was cautious optimism. His previous work at Wolves, where he guided them to consecutive seventh-place finishes and European qualification, suggested he could organize a side effectively and build a competitive identity. West Ham believed that experience would translate into solidity and resilience. However, football rarely follows scripts, and what has unfolded instead is a steady erosion of confidence, clarity, and belief. The team has struggled to string together positive results, and worse still, they have failed to show signs of learning from repeated mistakes. The most damaging moment in this downward spiral came in the humiliating defeat to Wolverhampton Wanderers, a side that had not won a Premier League game all season. For Wolves, that match represented a turning point and a lifeline. For West Ham, it was an indictment. Losing 3-0 to the league's bottom club with a performance that lacked intensity, organization, and fight crossed a line for many supporters. It was not just the scoreline that alarmed people, but the manner of the defeat. West Ham looked passive, disconnected, and mentally beaten long before the final whistle. For a club already teetering near the relegation zone, this was a result that carried serious consequences. As the weeks have gone by, the numbers have become increasingly difficult to defend. West Ham's winless run has stretched alarmingly, dragging them deep into the relegation battle. The gap between them and safety is no longer theoretical. It is visible, measurable, and growing. Every dropped point increases the pressure, and yet there has been no meaningful upturn in performances to suggest a corner is about to be turned. In modern Premier League football, patience is often preached but rarely rewarded when a team shows no clear signs of progress. What has perhaps hurt Nuno the most is the visible loss of faith from the stands. West Ham supporters are known for their passion and loyalty, but also for their honesty. When belief fades, it does so loudly. Chants calling for change, fans leaving matches early, and a general atmosphere of resignation have become common sights. This disconnect between manager and supporters is dangerous, especially in a relegation fight where home form and crowd energy can be decisive factors. Once that relationship fractures, repairing it becomes extremely difficult. From a footballing perspective, criticism of Nuno's approach has grown steadily. West Ham have struggled to establish a clear attacking identity, often appearing unsure of how to progress the ball or create chances. Players look hesitant, movement is limited, and confidence in the final third is visibly lacking. Defensively, the team has been equally vulnerable, conceding goals through basic errors, poor positioning, and a lack of cohesion. These are not isolated incidents, but recurring themes, which suggests deeper structural issues rather than temporary lapses. Supporters and pundits alike have questioned tactical decisions, team selections, and in-game management. Certain players appear out of form, yet continue to start, while others who could inject energy and creativity remain underused. In a league as unforgiving as the Premier League, small margins matter, and West Ham have consistently found themselves on the wrong side of them. When a manager cannot arrest that trend, the spotlight inevitably turns toward his suitability for the job. This brings the discussion to the increasingly popular alternative, Slaven Bilic. At 57 years old, Bilic represents something West Ham currently lack: familiarity, emotional connection, and a proven understanding of the club's identity. His previous spell at West Ham is remembered with fondness, not because it was perfect, but because it captured a sense of belief and ambition. Under Bilic, West Ham played with intensity, bravery, and a clear attacking philosophy. The team produced memorable performances against top opposition and finished in the top half of the table, reigniting pride among supporters. Importantly, Bilic's name is not being floated purely out of nostalgia. Reports indicate that he would be willing to return, even on a short-term basis, to help steer the club away from relegation danger. That willingness matters. In a crisis, commitment and emotional investment can be just as important as tactical acumen. Bilic understands West Ham's culture, the pressure of the job, and the expectations of the fan base. He would not need time to learn the club, something West Ham may not be able to afford. Critics of this idea argue that returning to a former manager is a step backward, a sign of a club lacking long-term vision. They point to Bilic's later struggles in management and suggest that West Ham should instead focus on building a sustainable project. While those concerns are valid in theory, the reality of West Ham's situation demands pragmatism. This is not about long-term rebuilding at this stage. It is about survival. Relegation would undo years of progress, damage finances, and potentially trigger a mass exodus of players. There is also the argument that sacking Nuno so soon would be unfair and destabilizing. Football history, however, offers countless examples where decisive mid-season changes have saved clubs from disaster. What matters is not the length of time a manager has been in charge, but whether there is evidence that things are improving. At West Ham, that evidence is painfully absent. Continuity without progress is not stability, it is stagnation. The Premier League does not wait for teams to find themselves. Points lost in January are just as damaging as those lost in May. West Ham's fixtures will only grow more difficult, and the psychological toll of being stuck in the relegation zone can weigh heavily on players. A new manager, particularly one who commands respect and familiarity, can reset the mood, sharpen focus, and reignite belief almost instantly. Even a slight improvement could be the difference between safety and relegation. Ultimately, the call to sack Nuno is not driven by anger alone, but by a clear assessment of risk. West Ham are running out of time. The club must decide whether to persist with a project that shows little sign of recovery or to act decisively while there is still a chance to change course. Slaven Bilic may not be a perfect solution, but in moments of crisis, football is rarely about perfection. It is about momentum, belief, and connection. For many supporters, the choice is clear. Enough chances have been given, enough patience has been shown, and enough points have been dropped. West Ham cannot afford to wait for a turnaround that may never come. With relegation looming and confidence drained, bold action is required. Bringing back a 57-year-old manager who knows the club, wants the job, and understands the battle ahead could be the lifeline West Ham desperately need. Enough is enough, and the time to act is now.